Welcome to another QuoteWerks 101, our regular series of short presentations, really mini training sessions, giving you hints and tips for getting the most out of QuoteWerks. And this morning, I'm going to cover how you create sales quotes in a different currency other than your own base currency. Hello, my name is Tim Wilmot, and my company Wizard Systems, we're a specialist CRM systems supplier who help small and medium-sized organizations improve their productivity, marketing, and customer service through the use of simple and affordable solutions like QuoteWerks. Now, this session will be about 10 minutes or so in duration. Just an overview of the multi-currency feature of QuoteWerks, not meant to be in-depth training. My company, Wizard Systems, offer many extensive training options around QuoteWerks if you want to explore those with us. Now, the audio part of this presentation is one way only. If you've got any questions, please pop those into the question section on your meeting control panel. I'll do my best to answer those at the end. Also at the end, I'll give you an update on any QuoteWerks product news for you to keep you in the loop. And this call is being recorded. You will be sent an email from our system, normally after about a day or so, with a link to the recording that you can play back at your leisure. And we'll post it on our YouTube channel as well. Just go up to YouTube, do a search for Wizard Systems, you'll find us up there. Just a very quick mention about Wizard Systems. We've been supplying QuoteWerks a long time now. Lots of implementations. We provide any kind of service around QuoteWerks, supply, upgrades, training, and help desk support as well. Okay, so let's get into multi-currency quotes with QuoteWerks. An example I'm going to choose, seeing as I'm in the UK, and I think most people listening live are in the UK, let's imagine that our normal trade, or most of our trading, is in the UK, but from time to time, we may need to, we want to sell something into Europe, and we may need to provide our quotation in euros. So let me start by just taking a very simple example of selecting a product and then choosing that I want to quote that in the euro currency. So in the normal way, incidentally, I have selected a contact already, but in the normal way, I would go to my products, obviously select the product that I want to choose. Here we are, one at random, add this one into the quote, job done. So first of all, on my document items, I'm showing my normal pricing here, do you see? And my default pricing is pound sterling, as defined in my settings in QuoteWerks, taken normally from the settings of your PC by default when you install or when you set up QuoteWerks. So pound sterling is my base currency. So if I'm doing this quote to a UK customer in my currency, no problem, no other changes needed. If, however, I want to now quote this in euros, well, I would select that from the alternate currency drop-down list on my sale info tab here. This is where you can change some other default settings, main header settings for this quotation. So I'm going to select euros. Notice that you'll see this in gray. Hopefully you can make it out, but it's actually done the exchange, the actual calculation to euros for me based on the exchange rate that I've got defined in the QuoteWerks system. I may also, of course, select zero VAT as well. So I go back to my document items here. Notice now a couple of other columns, alternate unit price and alternate extended price. You will also have columns that you can define in here. Of course, you can customize this display. This is for your eyes only. The customer doesn't necessarily see all of these columns they'll be defined by the quotation layout. But there we are. We've got alternate unit price, alternate extended price. I could have slipped in there or displayed in there the alternate list price, the alternate extended list price as well. But alternate is QuoteWerks word for this other currency that I'm wanting to quote into. Quite simply, a 1.15 exchange rate as of this particular quotation. So now getting the quote to the customer. So I can see there's the euro little symbol there. And if I want to now quote to the customer, I want to send them a quotation, as you know, I click on my delivery button, and it would be normal to have an alternate layout, an additional layout defined in your QuoteWerks system for handling quotes in multi-currencies in a foreign currency. So my default one down here is the standard one. If I click on preview here, this would be my normal UK quote. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. There we are. I've kept it nice and simple, an item that's £1,000. Okay, let me now choose an alternate quotation layout. So back to delivery, and my alternate, my foreign currency quotation layout there. Click on preview, and up comes my euro quote. Let me just again zoom into that so we can see that a little bit more clearly. There we are. Very simple exchange rate calculation, 1.15, 1,150 euros. Notice that the euro currency symbol has been inserted in there as well. So a very simple way of getting a quote out, selecting a product, and then choosing to define that, show that in the currency of the customer, who might be in Europe or might be in the Eurozone. So where does that exchange rate come from? Well, that's very simply defined on your utilities menu. There's exchange rate maintenance. This is where you can define and set up any number of currencies you want to. I've only got 2 or 3 here. There's my euro one. If I just select that and edit it, I can show you what I mean. So we've actually got the currency code, the description, the symbol. If for any reason you can't find the symbol, you can then just do a search anywhere on the web, pick up that symbol, and just do a copy and paste into that field there. But importantly, we've got the convert to rate and the convert from rate. Well, as of today, the convert to rate, I think, is about 1.13. So the pound is slipping a little bit against the euro. So you can adjust that there as you wish. Now, the other example is maybe I'm buying in euros, but I want to sell in pounds. So that might be another little scenario that you might contemplate. So what I've got in my demonstration system here is another product. Let me go to this one again. And this one here, if I just edit this one, I can show you exactly what I mean. So this product, I am buying in euros, but I want to sell in pounds. So this is where typically I would tick this box here on the pricing tab of this particular product, pricing tab, and then I check this box here, base pricing on a foreign currency. So that's where I can select that drop-down list of the currency type. Notice this is the from rate here, 0.87. Maybe I'm buying that in euros, so the euro cost is 600 euros, but it's put in the pound sterling cost for me automatically. So a nice way of building in products there that you might buy in euros, but you want to quote, or you might be quoting in euros, but you might be quoting in pound sterling. So there we are, a quick example of quoting in alternate currencies. Of course, you can click into this box here if you didn't want to have that as a particular price here. You wanted some different price. You will get a little message saying, do you want to overwrite that value? Then no problem. In red, it won't appear red on the quote, but in red there, it's just saying that I've overridden the actual default exchange rate price there because I just wanted to just up that a little bit to a more realistic figure for this particular quotation. So those figures can be overwritten. Well, I hope that's been of interest to you. A little bit of a dive there into multi-currency, by no means extensive. There will be, I'm sure, with anyone looking at this presentation, there'll be many different scenarios of you operating in country A, trading in country B, maybe exclusively. There'll be different situations where you might need to tweak QuoteWerks to suit your environment as regards the default pricing that you choose for your quotes. As I say, in my example here, this is where my default, my base currency is pound sterling. My company is based in the UK, but maybe from time to time I'm selling into the Eurozone, maybe to the Republic of Ireland, maybe into France, and I want to quote in euros in that local currency of my customer. So as we normally do on our QuoteWerks 101 sessions. If you've got any questions now, please type those into your question box. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you've got. So Lewis asks, I get a price list from my Italian supplier every month in euros. Can I upload into QuoteWerks? Yes, you can. You'll be using the import feature of QuoteWerks. So in your scenario, I guess that you may be getting updates on pricing for products that you've already got in your QuoteWerks system. So I guess you wouldn't be necessarily, well, you may have some new products the Italian supplier gives you. So the import process will allow you to match on, say, the manufacturer's part number and certainly import the euro buy price, and then it's back into my scenario that I showed last of all. You may be selling in pound sterling or whatever, but yeah, you'd be importing in euros, and you better map that to that cost price, and certainly you'd be able to create new products. The import process would create new products if it didn't find a match of that part number. So hopefully that answers your question there. Diane, can I include the exchange rate in a document for internal purposes? Right, the exchange rate is saved in the quote. So when I showed you that 1.15, when I saved the quote, that is saved against that quote. So yeah, that exchange rate number can be displayed in a document, in a layout. You may not display it on the quote layout that goes to the customer, but it is saved against the quote. Okay, so that can be you can define any number of layouts you want to in QuoteWerks. So yeah, no problem at all. You just need to go to the layout and you need to insert that field. It'll probably be what's called a header field, Diane. Okay, but yeah, it should be in there. It'll be an alphabetical order. Just go down, just scroll down to exchange rate. You'll find it there. Stefan, how do I check what my default currency is? Well, you'll need to go to your options in QuoteWerks, and I think it's the regional, there's a tab there called regional, and that will show you the default one, but you could overwrite it. So maybe on your PC, your default currency, it says you're in the UK, you're in Great Britain or whatever, and it says, right, your default currency is pounds, pound symbol, so on. But maybe you want your default currency to be euros because all you do are euro quotes. So you could change that there. Yeah, so go into your options. Joey, if the rate changes, will it automatically adjust old quotes? Right, so that exchange rate has to be, I don't believe there's a way of automatically getting QuoteWerks every day. You know, at the moment, the exchange rate is going, well, it's going down against the euro a little bit. But, you know, it's going to constantly change. And, you know, there's no automatic way of adjusting that exchange rate. As regards old quotes, when you save the quote, the exchange rate as of that quote is saved against that quote. If you recall it, it's still going to be the same rate in there. You'll need to click on that there's a little euro button on the sales info tab, and that will then automatically adjust it. If you want to bring it up to date, there may be situations where you don't want to change the rate. You want to keep it at the old rate, maybe because of the change in exchange rate may be in your favor. And you just keep the price the same. So there might be some different scenarios there, but no, it's not going to automatically happen. You need to click on it to adjust it. Right. Yep. Thanks very much, Mark, for your kind comment there. Thanks very much indeed. Right. I don't think there's any more questions coming through. Just to keep you up to date, we're still in lockdown here. This is 12th of May 2020. So we're all working from home right now with the system. So we're providing online training as we have been doing actually for many years. So it's nothing new for us there. We've got all the technology and systems to provide any kind of training remotely wherever you are, and provide recordings of that training session as well. So please let us know if you want any brush up training on QuoteWerks during this time. Probably a good time to make sure you're getting to grips with all of the functionality of QuoteWerks. And indeed, these sessions, these 101 sessions we're doing right now, they're kind of little mini training sessions just to keep you in the loop and keep your skill levels up there, ready for when activities for a lot of us will improve and increase. Latest version of QuoteWerks is 5.5 build 4, so you have these major versions of QuoteWerks is 5.5, and then within the version you get little builds coming out, maybe 4 to 6 of those a year. We're on build 4. How do you get updates? Well, you get updates through us and by having an annual maintenance contract for QuoteWerks called a UMP, Upgrade Maintenance Program for QuoteWerks. Just contact us for details if you want to get up to date with the latest version of QuoteWerks, which will give you extra bells and whistles and quotation capabilities and compatibility with different CRMs and operating systems and so on. So get in touch with us. That's it. Thanks very much for your time. Those listening live, if you're watching this as a recording on whatever platform, please contact us if you want any more information about a great sales quote solution for QuoteWerks called QuoteWerks. Any suggestions for future topics that would be of interest to you? This was a suggestion from a previous subscriber, so happy to oblige there. Wanted to cover multi-currencies. Any suggestions for future training topics, please email us at Wizard Systems. My name again is Tim Wilmot. Please email me, tim@wizard-system.com. But thanks very much for your time. There's different ways of contacting us, and there's our YouTube location where we've got different playlists for different bits and pieces and CRMs and certainly QuoteWerks up there that we're building on as time goes on. But thanks very much for your time. Have a nice day, and we'll speak to you next week. Another 101 session next week, next Tuesday. Cheers. Bye-bye.